What up, y'all? It's your man. It's morning. It's not morning. It's morning for me. I've been working till 5 a.m. So, anyway, uh, I was listening on Instagram today. One of my man, Sho Baraka. Some of y'all know the artist Sho Baraka. If you don't, I highly advise you see about the artist Sho Baraka. SHO space Baraka. But he was talking to me. He was talking about a situation that he has come in contact with that I've dealt with myself, and I'm sure a lot of minorities have dealt with. And I don't mean to target to say that there aren't white people or Caucasians that deal with the same thing. I'm sure there are. But I'm just, from my experience, it tells me that. Anyway, basically, he hears a ruffle, somebody singing on the side of his fence. He goes to see what they singing and what they rapping or singing about, like what's going on. It's like 5 a.m. He realizes they're actually signaling to somebody who is in his car. He don't want to call the cops because, Sho Baraka a black man, and this is America. And he don't want to call the police because some of y'all don't understand it, so I'm going to break it. Basically, we no longer have a guarantee that when you call the police, they're going to do what you think is right. They're going to act accordingly, that they're going to, we don't have the trust that the situation won't end badly, right? Long story short, I can't have a brother getting shot and dying in the street because he was in my car looking for a couple bucks. And I decided to call the police. Ruin his life even if he doesn't die. The weight of these charges, you know what I mean? That shows up on your record. He go before the judge. I've done time. I did not do hard time at Super Maximum Canyon City. But I've been inside. I've actually been locked up on something I didn't even do, wrongfully arrested, fell through the cracks in the system, and was unlawfully held without seeing the judge on a 30-day sentence. It wasn't 30 days. It was 20 days. But still, you do 19 days on 30. So it was literally a whole month sentence I did. Just waiting to see the judge. They said my paperwork. Anyway, I know what it's like that you could be in there and the situation and the way that you're mistreated because you are mistreated. You're not treated badly. It's not that you're treated badly. You're mistreated. You're disrespected and you're mistreated in a way that if it came to light in America, y'all would not be okay with. But don't nobody say nothing because we can't get cameras in there to see how it goes down. If y'all have been in there, you know, you would not be okay with seeing somebody treated that way. And you should not, your sentence does not include being spit on and the disrespect from the boot heel of society. But either way, that you could go to jail and start there for a day and end up there for 10 years because of a situation that happened upon you. Self-defense doesn't have the same weight in the jail. It was just hard because knowing these things, it made it real hard for him to call the police. I'm sorry, I talked a lot to get to my point. There was a gentleman who got lost last night on my job site. I work at an airport location for a national, international car rental company. It's a very, very large lot. An African-American gentleman got lost. And when I was headed for my lunch break, speaking to his girlfriend, she informed me that he was of a diminished mental capacity, which I did not know. And that he may be scared, he may be unapproachable. I said, well, is he going to freak out on me? She said, no, you could approach him because he likes you. Thank you, God. Shout out to my customer service ability and my gift of gab. People do be liking me on my counter. Anyway, she said he likes you, so you could talk to him. But anybody else might scare him. And I spent the next about half an hour driving around the parking lot in a car looking for him unsuccessfully. 2 hours and 20 minutes later, the police show up because the family had called the police. And I couldn't bring myself to do it, I'll be honest with you. The current state of America, I couldn't be the one to call the police. I can't have a hand in that. That would literally, it would break me to my soul, literally to my core, if I was the person who called the police and that individual got shot. And people are saying, oh, that's not going to happen, but I'm going to give you the same look I gave my boss, who was an African American woman, who said, the police aren't going to shoot him. I would like to believe that as well. The family called the police, and when the police came, here's the thing that got me, really just like hurt me. And it made me mad, and the anger just grew. I told the policeman after he thought about all the stuff I had been thinking about for a long time, so I didn't want to just jump and tell him his job, but it seemed obvious to me, bro, we got a car lot with over 1,000 cars, and they're all unlocked. He could be in any one of them. Call a dog. Like, just call a dog and get out the way. When I finally suggested to him that this is a great time to call a dog, and this is the airport, so I know you got a bunch of dogs that can sniff for all kind of stuff. He said, we won't call a dog for this. I said, hold on, you'll call a dog to sniff my car down to find a joint, but you won't call a dog for a whole missing person? Like a whole person? That made me mad. The officer responded with something that shut me down and began to burn in me and got me more and more angry the more I thought about it. The officer at the airport, where they have all the things they would need to have at the airport, right? Because we don't short them out, told me he's not going to call a dog because if he calls a dog to come out here, the dog is coming out here and the dog's coming out here to bite him. Now that made sense, because I don't want him to get bit by a dog. That's messed up. But the more that it sat with me, the more that I came to realize this police officer, who is the emergency response, the trained professional, trained to respond to this specific emergency, supposedly empowered with the tools to see the job done, because we know if it's a gunfight, he got all the guns to shoot back, right? They don't have a dog capable of finding a person that won't bite them. Their dogs are not trained in such a way that they won't bite you. They can't be instructed or taught or given a command not to bite. Now, if you shoot a police dog, I don't know if you know this, you will get the exact same judicial charge as if you shoot a police officer. But the dog can't differentiate and will bite everyone except the police. The dog will bite you. Why don't you have dogs that can find people? You are the appointed, you are the one supposed to. This is what I'm talking about in the system. It's little things like this in the system that are not the smoking gun, but they shine back a clear truth that the system just is no longer designed and hasn't been designed for a very long time for the well-being or to help the well-being of the populace, the people as a whole. They're to respond to negative situations, but not even in a way that was clearly thought about to maximize the efficiency or its ability to bring about a profitable or positive or peaceful end. It's real cowboy stuff. I like cowboys. But aren't we growing up? We don't have a force to find missing people. Why do we have a drug enforcement force, but we don't have a missing people force? We're worried about them trafficking drugs. I don't know about any agency that tracks them trafficking people. I'm a lot more worried about the little girl in the container than I am the 10 pounds of pure heroin. It's real. Who's the victim on the heroin?